So I hope that was a fantastic way of, I think you might have to there we go. I hope you enjoyed that first interview with Siobhan Calderbank. She is an amazing resource and tool and a voice for women and Black women. And we're so proud to have her part of our community. Now, in the waiting room is a phenomenal woman that I've had the opportunity to connect with. It's actually taken about 2 years, I think, from the first time we initially sort of saw each other out there. But she is now going to share with you self-care is not selfish. So it's my pleasure to introduce Deb Crowe. After 23 years as an entrepreneur in the medical legal sector, Deb transitioned to become a certified, and I want to say OG Mandino habit finder coach. So I need to ask her what that is, because it's an interesting type of specialty for coaching. Deb coaches mid to upper management and C-suite executives to disrupt their habits of thinking outside using the science-based assessment. Deb is also the founder of the Women's Self-Care Conference, speaks on self-care across Canada and the US, co-authored 4 books, and she's working on her 5th. It's my pleasure to welcome Deb Crowe to the Success Summit stage.
Good morning, Monica. Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
Hello, Deb. And we don't have your camera up, so we can't see you yet. I'll just get you to adjust. There we are. Fantastic. You know, I said that yesterday, the hardest part of doing the summit, it was my first time doing a virtual summit, was when I talk to people, I like to engage with people in the audience. So versus a whole room, hundreds of people, I look at the computer and it's a completely different feeling because I like to feel emotions. I know if I get responses, I can feel that through the eyes of the audience, but you can't do that live. So thank you for your camera being on, because that's what I find is really important to connect with our speakers. So welcome. I'm excited for your talk. As we know, the pandemic has added a whole other layer of the need for self-care. So I'm going to out of here and I'm going to turn the keys over to the car here. Can you drive?
Great. Well, thanks again for having me. And I'm really happy that self-care has become the forefront of the pandemic for many reasons, but it's been a transition for me in my career. And I thought I'd start with a bit of a story in why I got into doing what I'm doing. I've been talking and promoting and really coaching around self-care and wanting women to adapt the sentence that self-care is not selfish. There's a lot of guilt with women around self-care and men as well, but I think more so women, as we've become over the last 5 decades career-oriented. We're still family-oriented. We're raising children. We're working full-time. Lots of extra demands for sure. So I used to be in the medical legal world, and I would work with women who were either in a car accident or a workplace accident, or they would go off work on a short-term disability claim due to stress. And over the years, it just really took a toll on me as a woman. It made me revisit my self-care. These women had nothing left for anyone, including themselves. And I unfortunately saw some of them go palliative and had the honor and privilege of being with them at end of life. And that's when the light bulb went off for me. And I thought, I no longer can be a generalist. I need to become a preventionist. So I looked at all the transferable skills that I had as a disability case manager, and I thought, what a beautiful way to transition into coaching. And I'm now coaching kind of twofold. I'm working with C-suite leaders, and unfortunately, as they climb the corporate ladder, Monica, there's always a price to be paid. And I feel like I'm back again with that case management hat on. So success does come with a price, but again, I put that preventionist hat on. We talk about self-care, we model self-care, we integrate self-care. Not only does it show up in their leadership, they model it as an executive for their teams. And it's now being seen as a fundamental element to leadership during the pandemic. And the reason being is if you don't model that as a leader, it's only going to foster and promote short-term disability claims, which I seen so many years ago. And I know that there's a lot of fear around self-care in the reopening and the whole kind of modeling of why you're doing this summit, which is excellent. And we want to remove that fear. So self-care has to come first, and it doesn't have to be difficult. It's like anything else, you just have to start. It can't come with guilt. And I think children really adapt well when they see their mom taking self-care. So I wanted to give some strategies and ask some questions for your viewers today that are involved in the summit. Do you start with a morning routine? I often get asked, Deb, it's so hard to take the time. I'm too tired to get out of bed. I just don't have the energy. It's going to be hard when you start something new, but 1 hour a day for you is 4% of 24 hours. And if you can't allocate an hour, then that's concerning because you're consistently going to be pouring from that half empty cup and you never get caught up. So it's very, very important to get up, have that quiet time, because when you don't have a quiet mind, it's not going to bring forth the day that you're scheduling and that you're trying to put out there to be organized and adaptable. Structure and discipline are two of the biggest components that are needed for self-care. I often say to my clients, you invest in everything else that has a fiduciary component to it. So self-care is about investing in your mind, it's about investing in your health, and it's about investing in yourself. I often encourage women to start that morning routine with a little bit of movement. What does that look like for you? It can be a walk. It can be a little bit of gentle stretching. I'm a yoga teacher. It can be a little bit of yoga with some meditation. Having a quiet mind allows for openness, for clarity. And with clarity comes discipline and structure. Because when you have a mind full of chaos and conflict, what does that do? It encourages you to procrastinate, which pulls from that fear-based behavior, and self-care doesn't have an opportunity to show up. What kind of affirmations are you saying to yourself? Do you look in the mirror and love and approve who you are in that moment, no matter what's going on in your life? Do you consider yourself to be worthy and lovable and complete? What does that look like for you? Do you appreciate who you are? Do you realize that with that morning routine, you can foster and create 3 goals for the day? More than 3 doesn't get done, and then you finish the day looking back with remorse and guilt that you took time for self-care. Whereas if you had have spent the time in the morning doing the 3 goals, letting them unfold as they can be, that quiet mind adapts and handles all the flurry of activity that comes to you during that day. Are you happy with yourself? Self-care is the foundation of happiness. When you can give back to you, you are the best version of all the relationships in your life. Daughter, sister, aunt, mother, wife, partner, whatever that looks like for you. You show up as a better employee or a better entrepreneur because you carve out that time for you. Like I said, I've worked with many women who've allowed stress in the workplace, accompanied with a busy lifestyle, to succumb their overall health. And life is too precious and too short for us to not carve out this time. I believe the pandemic is giving you an opportunity to pause, revisit, renew, rejuvenate, and maybe reschedule how you spend self-care time for yourself every day. How do you make that time meaningful? Do you feel in sync with the activities that you're doing? I often find that women need to have an achievement to push themselves to the next level, to allow them to have that belief in themselves. So I'd love for you to just maybe pause and take some time. And do you have a daily planner that helps you? I often ask my clients to have some affirmations. Are you worthy? Are you happy? My daily affirmation is I am comfortable and confident living in my skin, and I live with passion and purpose. I also allow myself to have a self-directed mindset, having those thoughts in my mind that start with, I want to do this. I get to do this. I choose to do this. And not feeling that I'm living and loving from a place of obligation. I'm living from a place that I carve and what I like to call life by design. So, how do you approach your day? How do you approach your self care? What activities of daily living bring you joy and abundance and happiness? Do you give yourself some time to just think? For those of you watching this, I've heard many, many women say, Deb, I just cannot meditate. Then go for a walk and just embrace the sound of the birds, hearing the wind in the trees, feeling the earth beneath your feet, just allowing yourself to be. Women get caught up in doing, and we forget sometimes to just slow down, pause, breathe, and be. What if you could have that opportunity every day to carve out some time for your self-care and have authority over your work and your life? And it would allow you to consistently appreciate all the activities you do at work as well as outside of work. What if you could frequently feel that setting aside those few minutes every day is all that you need to do? Every now and again, just feel a surprise or view what's going on in your life because you have the time to think and pause. I want you to have enough time for yourself, for your family, and for your friends. I want you to feel relaxed and be able to have that daily Zen time. When you are mastering the art of self-care, it allows you to accomplish everything that you want to consistently and on your own schedule. So I want to pack your toolkit today, your arsenal of self-care. I want to help you learn to really master self-care. And what does that mean? On an emotional level, a physical level, a social level, environmental, spiritual, and mental. There's many, many different areas, 6 in total, that we need to balance. And I'd love to put some tools into your toolkit. I'd love to help you with your habits of thinking around that. So Monica, I've got some great downloads, and I just launched a new online course called How to Master Self-Care. And I'm going to have a coupon for all your summit visitors, and just want to offer that special unique offer so that women can really take a hold of their self-care and start implementing it right away with the tools that I'm just so happy to provide to you today.
Well, Debra, I just want to say thank you so much.